In this video, we meet a man who decided to change his life. "I will pack my things and leave." These words became for him not just a phrase, but a real motto. "I quit," Kira announced joyfully and with feeling. "Are you crazy?" asked Maxime, who had fallen asleep. "Why are you yelling? And where have you been all night? It's morning already." Kira danced on the spot. "And I quit," she chanted. "Quit!" "Congratulations, God, you're noisy," Maxime yawned. "And for a Saturday morning, you're ugly energetic." "Maxime, wipe your eyes and open your ears. I quit, that's it. Goodbye to reports and salaries, to entries and accounts. I'm free now." She danced around her husband. "What have you done?" "Catching up consciousness," interrogated Maxime. Kira stopped, came close to her husband, hugged him by the neck, and in his very face said, "I quit. Isn't that great? I don't know where you spent the night. I don't know what you took there, but it didn't do you any good. You're not making any sense. It's Saturday. You can't quit your job. Besides, you were on vacation." "You got it." Kira smiled. "I was finishing up my vacation before I quit. On Monday, I'll pick up my labor card, and I'm finally and irrevocably free." She let go of her husband and continued dancing around the room. "I'll call a brigade now," Maxime threatened. "This has nothing to do with adequate behavior. Honey, I'm healthy. I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life, and I'm also happy." "I can't boast the same," Maxime grumbled. "I waited for you until midnight, and you didn't answer the phone at all." "I lost it," Kira smiled broadly. "That's how irresponsible I am now." "Let's go to the kitchen," Maxime muttered. "I refuse to talk to you without coffee. I'll make some." Kira jumped out in front of her husband and ran to the kitchen. After the first sip of hot coffee, Maxime's eyes became clearer and he asked, "So, where were you all night?" "At the restaurant," Kira said proudly. Until 12, we celebrated the last day of accounting hard labor and then the corks in the ceiling and celebrated freedom. "So you actually quit your job?" Maxime asked, frowning. "You're a tough guy," Kira grinned. "I've been telling you about it for half an hour." "And what were you thinking?" Maxime shrieked. "How are we going to live now? We have downtime after downtime. Your accounting department is constantly getting a salary, and we're going from site to site. You know it's the off-season. Kira, for fuck's sake. Don't touch my mother or I'll call her to visit," Kira threatened, making an angry face but immediately laughed. "Maxime, you're a builder. You have the clearances, you have the skills, and you want a weak woman to support a family?" Maxime choked on such a formulation. Such conversations had never come up in the family before. They just lived with a single purse and that was all. And here new notions came up: weak woman, supporting a family. And with no training, it's like a snowball. "Kira, that's not how things are done." Maxime shook his head. Such turns should be discussed somehow, and decisions should be made by the family. Together. "I've told you 100 times that I don't like my job." Kira shrugged her shoulders. "And you told me that it's stability and good income. And where is the care for me?" "Enough with the polemics." Maxime got up to pour more coffee. "You've been spoiled, you've had enough. And on Monday you'll tear up your application and go on working." "Nope." Kira shook her head. "No way." "Not no way, but run and sing," Maxime shouted. "Look at her. And if everyone quits if they don't like something, who will work then?" "I don't care." Kira nonchalantly showed her tongue. "Whoever wants to work, let him work. I have a husband. You know, if you sit on my neck and my earnings are not God knows what, so you will not have a husband for long. I won't tolerate freeloaders. I'll pack my things and leave, and be happy here alone, and that you've quit your job and that you're free. Only your freedom will be complete." Kira sank down and lowered her eyes. "Did you get it? Well, that's great. So you go to work on Monday, say you had Mercury retrograde, but now everything is normal and you're ready to go on working." Kira sighed heavily. "Your job is fine. At least it pays." Maxime looked at his wife. "There's no need to cry. You've had your fun and you'll be done." Kira didn't believe in happiness. She didn't believe in happy people either. "There are happy moments," she said, "but for happiness to last and not end is simply impossible." Almost from childhood, she had to do what was necessary, not what she wanted. Even studying to become an accountant was because her mother wanted it. "Daughter, people will need order and calculations as long as there will be money, and that means always. If you're an accountant, you'll never be out of work." And Kira wanted to. She wanted a lot of things. She wanted to be an artist, or a clown, or a teacher, or someone who would always be surrounded by joyful people. The experience of working in the accounting department of the construction trust showed that happy people are not found there. People came there serious and preoccupied, and when the next inspection came, everyone went on sedatives, which did not help anyone. Constant shouting, bills, payments, nerves, deferred payments, taxes, statements, hysterics, shortages, payment orders, and credits and debits. And it all goes round and round like a merry-go-round where you can get off only once a year and then for 3 weeks. Kira never liked her job. She understood it, knew it, did it, but she didn't love it. She came in every morning and just plunged into a cycle of numbers, entries, and invoices. And her mother rejoiced that her daughter found a place in life and at any turn of history would be in business and at a salary. There she met Maxime in the trust. He was handsome, slender, muscular. Though he was a simple builder, Kira's soul fell in love with him. He came to the accounting department to complain that his bonus had been cut, and so he fought so zealously, defending his bonus, that Kira was surprised at how energetic and interesting he was. He smelled of the very life and free wind that Kira had been looking for in the musty corners of the accounting department. She pulled up the statements and timesheets and found mistakes. It turned out that Maxime had been underpaid a bonus last month as well. In the end, she herself submitted the documents for a refund to the chief accountant for signature. "Who is he to you?" Vera Anatolievna asked. "Why are you digging through papers for him? Don't you have anything else to do?" "Yes," Kira answered and blushed. "Ah," Vera Anatolievna stretched out. "Did you like that boy?" "Yes, builders. While they are young, they are like that. They melt a girl's heart in an instant. But look, they beat hearts." Kira got even more embarrassed and blushed. "Okay, we'll give your handsome man his blood money back. Tell him you did your best for him. Let him at least bring a chocolate bar or flowers, and then you'll be able to pay for the wedding." Kira took the signed document with trembling fingers. "Or at least wash your face first, because I can see from your face that you're missing on all counts." 6 months later, they got married. Let Kira in happiness and did not believe in happiness, but happy moments in her life added. A young wife with a handsome husband. What is not happiness? And after 2 more years, Kira realized that the happy moments were becoming less and less. Love had not gone, and tenderness had not disappeared. They just stopped going out after work and started watching TV. And on weekends, if they didn't go to their parents, Maxime would run to his friends and buddies. And Kira spent time with her girlfriends. The marriage began to wither and sour. No, it wasn't all bad. There were happy moments. They'd go to the theater or a concert, or a picnic with friends, or family visits. But against the background of these days of happiness, everything else took on a hopeless gray hue. Maxime had lost all his vigor and cheerfulness. He was more grouchy and grumpy. And when there were problems at work because there was no work, he turned into a man dissatisfied with everything in the world. Perhaps it would have been easier for Kira to wallow in a shabby job, an unhappy family, and a joyless life if she hadn't realized it. But she realized that she hated her job. She tolerated her husband, and every morning she woke up not with the thought that a new day had begun. The thought was how to get through it so that she could lie down again sooner. Very often, coming home in the evening, she would lift her head up and look up at the stars, and sort of prayed to them to show her a different path. "Kira, if gray is in fashion now, it doesn't suit you at all." A suspiciously familiar voice called out to Kira as she stared at the stars, frozen on an unlit stretch of path. "What?" Kira stared into the darkness. "I'm saying that all shades of gray don't suit you," exclaimed Oksana, stepping out under the streetlight. "Oksana!" Kira rejoiced. They were classmates. True, they hadn't seen each other since they graduated from high school, though they were firm friends, but life brought them to different universities and then somehow did not bring them together. "Kira, what happened to you?" "I thought it was just a shadow," Oksana exclaimed. "I could hardly recognize you as a human being. And when I recognized you, I was even more surprised. How do you have to live to bring yourself to such a situation?" Day after day, Kira smiled sadly. The nearest cafe welcomed them into its semi-darkness, and they started talking about who had achieved what for 15 years after school. "Do you realize that this is not a life?" Oksana asked. "It's more like existence, and you're only 32. You are still, if by world standards, considered a youth, and you live the life of an old woman." "Oksan, it just happened that way," Kira answered. "You could say that I'm a victim of circumstances. I don't accept such an excuse, and you can change your circumstances. Everything can always be changed before they order a memorial service for you. That's easy for you to say. You've got it all worked out, and you grumble like an old granny." Oksana mischievously flicked a curl from her eyes. "And we are the same age as you. Are we going to draw conclusions?" "What conclusions?" Kira asked tearfully. "Well, for example, let's change jobs," Oksana smiled. "You don't like your job, and your education is good, and experience. And what should I do? Administrator in a restaurant." "The same reports, but people, conflicts, holidays, and constant fun. And lots of delicious food and nice waiters." "I'm married," said Kira. "I'm married too, but it doesn't stop me from taking compliments. Let's go right now. We'll get acquainted with the management and staff." "I have to quit my job first," Kira grumbled. "And no one will let you go without a vacation. Take a vacation. Let them count the time off. And in the meantime, you'll be my trainee. And don't pussyfoot around. Let's go. Kira already realized how much she liked being an administrator. It was exciting and fun. And the negativity poured over her soul when she pleased the guests, and they thanked her from the bottom of their hearts. By the way, the salary was slightly higher than she received in the accounting department. And tips! She waited for the day of dismissal like she had never waited for anything in her life like that. Maxim took his wife's downcast look as his victory. That is, he had overpowered her and forced her to accept his opinion. So he sat down across from her and started the second cup of coffee. But when Kira straightened up and looked at Maxim, he shuddered and even swept the sugar past the cup. "Listen to me now, my dear husband," Kira said in a firm and confident tone. "Did you start threatening me that you would leave me if I didn't return to the accounting department? Well, I'm not going back there, and you can leave now with peace of mind." "What do you mean you won't go back?" Maxim was taken aback. "What do you mean I can leave?" "Oh, that's what I thought," Kira smiled. "I take back what I said. You know that you can. I want you to leave. Right now, pack your things and leave." "Are you out of your mind?" Maxim asked, recoiling. "For the first time in my life, I'm in my right mind, in my right to say what I want." "How will you live without me?" Maxim said haughtily, crossing his arms over his chest. "I'll live perfectly well. Come on, don't drag this out. Get out of my life. I need to sleep. I have to go to work tonight." She got up easily and went to her room. Maxim, of course, left, although he made a couple of attempts to stay. But Kira was relentless. And the most important thing she had endured lately? If you don't like something in your life, you have to change it. Your job, your husband, your friends, your life, and change it until you're happy. Because there is happiness.